You should definitely consider drawing more plus-size people. That's a really important thing to do because it's going to show other people that you're not limiting yourself to just drawing one specific body type. It's good to be versatile. I see a lot of young or growing artists discuss that they're feeling intimidated by drawing these bodies, and I understand where they're coming from. Thankfully, today I'm going to give you my art tutorial. I'm going to show you how I successfully navigate drawing these bodies in a way that's simple and not at all intimidating. I'm Satmolly or Molly. I am a freelance digital artist, and thank you for watching. The very first thing that I want you to do is to go on Pinterest or whatever search engine you want, but I really strongly recommend Pinterest. Start looking up plus-size people, plus-size fashion, plus-size bloggers, plus-size actors, influencers, it doesn't matter. I personally really like to look up plus-size fashion influencers because they always have great style, and by doing this, you're just becoming more accustomed to what plus-size bodies look like. I think the biggest problem artists have is just not being exposed to what other body types look like because, in this society, smaller bodies are prioritized and kind of put in the forefront, and because that is what we see most of, that is what we're just naturally inclined to draw. Start saving this to a folder specifically just dedicated to, it could be fashion, it could be just anatomy references, it doesn't really matter, whatever works best for you. But the idea is that, oh my god, I love her outfit. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that? Okay. But the idea is that it's less intimidating if you expose yourself to it. Again, studying real people is going to benefit you in the long term. You'll want to understand how these bodies look, how they move, how the light hits them, and just studying cartoon images is not always going to cut it if you're still learning. Growing up, it used to be very common to see this one specific body type being portrayed as plus size. This is not plus size, just to clarify, this is an hourglass figure. Both bodies are valid, I'm not arguing otherwise, and there's no right or wrong way to have a body, just to make that clear. However, drawing an hourglass figure is not the same thing as drawing a fat body. I'm going to draw another body and I'm going to break it up into circular shapes. While I'm doing this, I like to have this grid underneath so I can ensure the proportions stay as accurate as they can be. Always use the lasso and transform tools to resize your drawings. I plan on doing that frequently. When you're practicing drawing figures like this, don't worry about it looking perfect, just take times to study the overall shapes. This figure has weight carried in the hips and thighs, and the bust is smaller. I'm doing this again to demonstrate all the different ways you can depict a plus-size body. Some plus-size people do have smaller waists, some do have fuller busts, but more often than not, human beings are known to hold fat in their stomachs, so I make a habit of drawing round tummies. I'm drawing freehand right now, which is something you should do in your spare time, but for my next example, I will be using a photo for reference. Here is my photo. I'll be drawing this lady because she has a really pretty dress and I just like her outfit. So the first thing I'm going to do, again, like in my last example, is break everything down into circular shapes. This time I have to follow a little bit more stricter of a guide because I have to copy her likeness. Don't be afraid to make those really big, sweeping, curved lines. That's going to bring the drawing together and just make all of these curves look very fully dimensional, if that makes sense. I went in and I did some adjustments on her face because although I am focusing on the body type, I don't want to ignore her face completely. I want this to look pretty for you guys overall. If at any point the anatomy feels off, I would strongly recommend flipping your canvas. That can really make you take a second look at your perspective. And don't forget to use the transform tool. I noticed here that I made her body a little too small, and I'm going to just make that a little bit more even. Think about those art tutorials you've seen about drawing anatomy. This really isn't too different. It's the same idea. You're just adding volume and you're redistributing the weight in a variety of places. I also want to point out again how important it is to include these bodies in your portfolio. If you want to be a character artist, which is what I used to want to be, I went to college to study concept art and character design. A really big part of that is having a variety of shapes and sizes. The biggest and best example that I can come up with right off the top of my head is Baymax. Baymax is literally just a bunch of ovals. He's very soft, and all of those soft curves indicate a very pleasant and nurturing character. Do you see what I mean? Like, different bodies convey different meanings. I'm going to draw one more figure for you, and this time I really just want you to take a moment and observe my process and think about how you can best apply those shape design skills. I really do enjoy making these art tutorials. I like knowing that I can share this information with other people who were once a growing artist like I was. I started digital art when I was 15, but I've been drawing my entire life. I hope that you found my tutorial very helpful. Please, if you would like to see more videos like this, especially if you want to learn more about digital art and just having an art career, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Come say hi to me on Instagram if you want, especially if you're a beginner artist. I love to follow people who are still learning and growing, and I like to be a part of that positive community. Anyways, yeah, until next time, happy drawing.